Queen Margaret University is committed to pursuing research with the potential for real-world impact. This short film showcases a selection of case studies from across our research and knowledge exchange centres. Spanning diverse disciplines, including the arts and health sciences, these research projects have all adopted innovative approaches to addressing wider societal issues. To start us off, Dr. Julian Lonchamp describes an ongoing project to develop a soy industry byproduct as a novel food ingredient.
My name is Julian Lonchamp. I'm a reader in food science at QMU, and this is a project that I've led with Katrina Liddle, who's the head of the SCFDI, the Scottish Centre for Food Development and Innovation, based at QMU. So our research focuses on developing novel ingredient products with combined health and environmental sustainability benefits. The funding we have received allowed us to further develop a novel salt replacement strategy using an unexploited co-product, basically a waste from the soy sauce industry. This fermented soy pulp cake is currently either used as animal feed or disposed as industry waste due to its specific sensory profile and sensitivity to oxidation. However, as a fermented product which is derived from soybean and wheat, this material contains high level of flavoring and health components, which makes it a potentially unexploited source of novel ingredients for the food industry. So our project addresses the urgent need to develop sustainable solutions to the underexploitation of this fermented soy pulp cake in order to prevent the environmental and economic impact that are associated with its disposal as waste. In a preliminary study, we screened a number of applications for these ingredients. We identified its high potential as a salt replacer and as a umami flavoring. So now this follow-on project has allowed us to further develop novel salt-reduced food applications while maintaining the sensory properties of the products in comparison with full salt controls. We've also been able to further analyze the composition of this fermented soy pulp cake, especially its umami flavoring compounds, and to assess the impact of different processing method on the properties of this material, using a range of drying methods.
My name is Victoria Bianchi and I am a lecturer in drama and performance at QMU. So my research focuses on performance and heritage. This project, I've developed it in collaboration with my colleague Andy Henry, is specifically interested in the heritage of Glasgow Green, the oldest park in Glasgow, and it's about how performance and creative practice can illuminate unrepresented and marginalised histories within the site. Andy and I have worked collaboratively on gathering data for this project over the past year, and this funding that we've received has allowed us to develop a new augmented reality app which celebrates the various histories of the park that we have gathered through our research. These have come from archives, interviews, desk research and conversations with local people, and they represent an alternative history of the space and of Glasgow. The app, which we are developing in collaboration with the University of St Andrews, will be freely available to those in the park and will be complemented by a website where users can find out more about the stories that interest them, and they can also share their own stories of the park. Working with communities, there's a real sense that people feel it's important for these stories to be told, that they shouldn't be forgotten. One of the most interesting aspects of this work is how performance and creative writing can work with augmented reality to fill in the historical blanks and to develop a new kind of heritage landscape for city parks. Going forward, the next stages will involve launching our app at Glasgow Green and online, after which we intend to replicate our work in new parks in different areas of the country. This work is a pilot project through which we can build on our digital performance archive and explore how creative practice can celebrate communities, green spaces, and stories that we don't want to lose.
My name is Jo Ma, and I'm a speech-language therapist. My research focuses on developing the use of ultrasound as a new tool in the assessment and management of swallowing disorder. Swallowing disorders can be caused by a range of conditions, such as stroke, Parkinson's disease, or head and neck cancer. As part of the assessment, speech and language therapists sometimes use a swallow X-ray or endoscopy to look at the swallowing function. But these procedures can be invasive or uncomfortable for the patient and also involve radiation as well. Using ultrasound to look at swallowing could be a less invasive and a more cost-effective tool. The use of ultrasound is a fast-developing area within speech and language therapy. In swallowing assessment, ultrasound allows us to look at the movement of the tongue and other vocal tract structures, and look at how they work together when eating and drinking. This gives us information about how well the swallowing function is and whether there are any changes that may cause a swallowing problem. At the moment, we are looking at what a normal swallow looks like on ultrasound and developing a reliable way to measure different swallow functions. We are also working with our clinical partners to test the use of ultrasound in different clinical populations. The research is important because it has the potential to change the way swallowing assessment is carried out. It can be used as part of a swallow screening or as a tool to monitor changes in swallowing function in individuals with progressive neurological conditions. It can also be used in therapy to help the patients to see what's happening when they are swallowing. Altogether, this can lead to more accurate screening, earlier diagnosis, and timely intervention of swallowing disorder. It can improve clinical outcomes and benefit NHS service through cost saving and improvement in the quality of care. Going forward, the next stage will involve looking at using ultrasound evaluations of swallowing in the clinical setting. This will also involve talking to the stakeholders to understand the benefits and the challenges for clinical translation. You can read more about this project on our website, swallowvision.com.
My name is Robert Monroe and I am a lecturer in film and media, and as part of our cinema research project I am working with Dr. Jamie Chambers at Edinburgh College of Art. Our research focuses on the impact that film can have for the development of self-efficacy in young people. We've designed a programme of film education which involves filmmaking and critical film viewing, aiming to draw out the cinema in the lives of young people. The programme is built around a vernacular approach to cinema that privileges the experiences, dialects and life worlds of young people in Scotland. Designed to be undertaken across a school year, a series of film exercises develop an understanding of the fundamentals of film form. Alongside this, a series of story exercises help young people to think about how to represent situations from their own lives cinematically. The funding we have received has allowed us to hire a research assistant to support us in working with film education projects across the globe, and to share experiences with colleagues in France, Japan, Palestine and Spain, and then publish those conversations in the Film Education Journal. The research is important because the moving image is the dominant communicative medium of our age, and harnessing the creative potential within young people to explore their own worlds through filmmaking offers a radical and emancipatory form of self-expression.
Over the last couple of years, I've been involved in a mixed methods research project which has explored the experiences of critical care and redeployed nurses during the COVID-19 pandemic. A model of occupational stress, the job demand resources model, informed the design of a survey and provided a framework for the questions and analysis of the interviews. In total, 461 critical care nurses and 200 redeployed nurses completed the survey, and 28 critical care and 16 redeployed nurses were interviewed. We found that nurses were at a significant risk of psychological distress, burnout, emotional exhaustion, and around 30% had concerning symptoms of post-traumatic stress. They reported a reduction in care quality, patient safety, and worryingly 28% indicated that they were planning to change jobs in the next year. Wellbeing resources that had been implemented were described, but there were difficulties with accessing them, and that limited their value. The deductive nature of the framework analysis used to analyse the interviews did not fully capture the complexity of the vivid account that was shared by the nurses. This funding has allowed us to undertake further analysis of the interviews, and we are currently undertaking an inductive thematic analysis of the data.
I undertook a secondary analysis of the interviews. They revealed that nurses had very different experiences of their redeployment, from quite positive overall to extremely challenging. The reasons for this variability tended to result from systematic and structural factors. Distressing experiences tended to be characterized by a lack of acknowledgement and appreciation, as well as insufficient training and orientation. More positive experiences were underscored by a sense of personal and professional satisfaction, team cohesion and camaraderie, and feeling confident confident within their role. These findings are significant because they illustrate that challenging redeployment experiences are not ubiquitous, and in fact, they're quite preventable through the implementation of improved, more robust redeployment procedures.
The members of the wider research team were really struck by what were quite harrowing and vivid descriptions. The experiences that they'd had at the outset of the pandemic and through those subsequent waves has stayed with them. A lot of people were talking about leaving nursing as a profession, and there were redeployed nurses that we talked to who had been really quite traumatised by the experience, but had gone back to their normal day job and found it at times quite isolating because they were unable to speak to people who'd been through the similar situation. And so although the nurses who worked together in critical care had the camaraderie and have been able to continue to work and have the support of each other, for those redeployed nurses moving back into other areas of the hospital, they actually haven't had that ongoing support. And as a team, we very much felt that ensuring that the voices of those individuals is heard is really, really important. Although the pandemic is seen as over, the enduring impact of that on a lot of these individuals is still very real. And what we hope moving forward is that the findings be able to inform developments in practice in terms of overall management, about what are the kind of optimal processes, what is the optimum way that being redeployed can take place that benefits the bigger system so that the hospitals are able to deliver their services, but isn't detrimental to those individuals who are put into that situation.
All of these research projects share QMU's commitment to addressing complex societal challenges through interdisciplinary research that can help us better understand people, the places they live, and the lives they lead. To engage further with our research and knowledge exchange centres, please visit qmu.ac.uk. Thank you for watching.